we're going to make a very simple 3D paper airplane model that will fly, built correctly. The airplane will look kind of like this. So we have a fuselage that's a triangular tube. We like triangles because triangles are very, very strong. And then on top of it, we're going to glue a wing, and it's actually going to have a camber in it, curve in the top, so that it will generate lift. It's not just a little piece of paper here. This is an actual wing. And then the tail is going to be a horizontal stabilizer, and that's just going to be a piece of paper folded over. And we'll have a vertical stabilizer with a couple little feet to hold it in place. And then we're going to put 3 paper clips in the nose for balance. And it doesn't look particularly spectacular, but it is a simple little airplane. There's only 4 parts. It's easy to build. All right, to start out, we're going to make the triangular fuselage. This is going to be 3 rectangles stuck together, and each one is going to be 5.5 inches. And it's going to be 1/4 of an inch, 3/4 of an inch wide. If we want to count it with squares on our graph paper, this is a 1/4 inch graph paper. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is 22 squares. And this is 3 squares wide. So this is one of them. We need 3 of these. Now we need a tab, because when this cuts out, this edge has to join with this edge, and we discovered with our car that we need a little bit of extra paper to fold under it. This does not have to be very exact. So this will fold up and make a big long triangular tube. Now the wing is another 2 big rectangles. Now this is just the bottom of the wing. We want to make a curve that goes on it, and here's how we're going to figure that out. Over here where we've got some space, we're going to draw a cross section of the wing. So that's 4, same width as our wing. And then that looks like a pretty good curve. We don't want to make this really big because it'll make a lot of drag. We don't want to make it really thin either because it won't get a whole lot of lift, and plus it's really hard to get things really precise. Now we want to measure this surface. We know this one is 4. This one's going to be more than 4, and we don't want to guess. We want to measure. So I get me a piece of paper like this, and I make a little mark right there. And holding the pen down, I can swing this piece of paper around until it touches this line. And I'm going to put my pen there. And I'm going to kind of walk this along this curved line. And make another tick mark there. This is how long this surface is. We could actually bend it, and it should be exactly right. And if you look at it, it's a little bit longer by about that much. There's a little tiny bit. So over here, I'm going to put 1 mark on this line, and I'm going to go to this other end and make a little mark. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. Now with these 2 marks, I can connect them with a ruler, and that should be perfectly parallel with these 2. So this is the top of our wing, and because it's a rectangle, it really doesn't have a front or a back. We just want to make sure we don't put it on upside down. Now we need a tab on this thing also, and that's why we have a little bit of space here. because we need this area to glue onto the underside of this area. So now we need our horizontal stabilizer. This is actually really easy. It's only going to be about 3 inches wide. And it's just a simple rectangle. Except that this one sheet of paper is really thin, so we're going to make this double thick. And we will cut this out and fold it right down that line and then glue these two surfaces together. So we really don't need a tab for this one because we're just going to put glue everywhere. So this is our horizontal stabilizer, and just like the wing, it doesn't really have a front or a back. And then the next thing we need is a vertical stabilizer. We need the tail sticking up. And we're going to draw this one a little different. We're going to draw a line, about that big. And then we're going to draw a line right about like this. Now, if I make this line ends where two lines junction, it's going to be easier to duplicate it on the other side. So I'm going over 1, 2, 3, 4, and up 2. And then right about where those two meet, that's a good spot. And I'll connect the top of these. And I've got a tail fin. Now I'm going to make another one right over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and up 2. And this is over 2 and up 1. And this is going to fold in half, and there's going to be a left side and a right side. This is the surface that actually sticks onto the fuselage. So we need to put a couple of tabs on it. And if you've got a little square template like this, it makes it a little bit easy. And so we've got these two tabs. We need these to be little feet to stick this thing onto the fuselage. This is the whole plane. This is ready to cut out right now. So we're going to cut this out. Now, we have to be careful where not to cut. We don't want to cut here. This is a fold line. You cut on the fold line, then you get another sheet of paper and you draw the part all over again. And as you can see, if you tuck this under, we have a triangle. Now, we could also have made this thing a square with one more side would make it a square instead of a triangle, but triangles are very strong. I mean, this thing doesn't want to flex or anything at all. I mean, unless you bend the paper, this is going to stay as a triangle. It's not going to skew to one side. And then we're going to get our glue. And with the glue, you don't need a lot of glue. I mean, the glue is actually really strong, and the paper will rip before the glue goes. So you don't need a lot of glue. The more glue you put in, the longer it will take to dry. You just need tiny dots. And the dots are good because as the paper gets soaked up with the glue, it won't shrivel up as much. The trick with glue is you just got to hold it in place until it sets. And so I usually count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's stuck. Now, if you count faster, the glue does not dry faster, all right? So if you count fast, maybe you want to count to a higher number. But here's our fuselage. That's easy to make. Here's our wing. Now, we want to be a little bit more precise with this. We want to cut right on that line. We don't want to get near the line because if we're close to the line, it's not going to be the right shape. It might have too much of a camber or too little of a camber, or it might even have more camber on one side than the other or have a twist in it. Now, as I fold this, I want to be careful. A good way to fold is to pinch each side of the line, and I can either go pinch in the middle, or I can lay it down and just go mash. And that will give me a really good, accurate line. We got to fold this one too. This one gets forgotten easily. And then kind of curl this one a bit. If you look at it, it actually has a wing shape. It is flat on the bottom, it's curved on the top, so when this goes through the wind, the air on the top has to go a further distance, so it has to go faster. That will lower its pressure, and so the air underneath will kind of push up on it, and that's what gives it the lift. Now, we can glue this together two different ways. We can put glue on this tab and line up this edge with this fold, or we can tuck this under like an envelope and the fold will kind of hold it for us. We just have to make sure we glue this down so it doesn't flop into the wind. But if you'll notice that this edge is a little bit longer, it sticks out a little bit. Now if I just glue it flat like this, it's going to be all floppy and it won't give us any lift. But if I make this edge touch this fold, it will force the paper to be curved on the top, and that will give us a wing. Now, one of the things you got to look out for is when I glue this together, I have to put it on the ground like that and push down. If I try to glue it together in the air, it might end up with a twist in it. So watch, if I put this together wrong, you see how it's got like a twist? All right, guarantee the airplane will not fly if you've got a twist in it. It's just going to want to spiral. So, but if you mess it up, 3 rectangles. This thing is easy to draw, and you can just make another one. So let's go put some glue. You got to be really careful with the glue here. Little drops, because we don't want a whole bunch of glue soaking the paper and making the paper soggy and wrinkly. I've got it against the ground. Now, I'm not mashing it flat here. I'm keeping this little bubble in here. There we go. This is our wing. Now we're going to glue the wing onto the fuselage. Now we're not going to put it right here in the front because, see, we need to put some weight here in the front to kind of balance out this long tail. And if we put it here in the front, we're not going to be able to put any weight there at all. So right about here, and I'm going to put glue someplace about here. Now don't just put it in the middle. You need to get the edges also. And you don't need a lot of glue, just a couple of drops. And I'm going to line this up and make sure it's straight. If it's a little crooked, it's not too bad. But we want to get that as straight as we can. And it looks like an airplane already. It's not going to fly, of course, because we don't have our tail. This is the easiest part of the whole airplane. And this is going to stick right there in the back. We need this. Now, we could cut all the way around here, but here's a neat little trick. Both sides of this are symmetrical. See? Both sides are exactly the same, and I only had to cut half as much. Now these little guys here are little feet. See, they give a place to put glue on so I can stick it on the back of the airplane. If these weren't here, if it was just, you know, like that, it wouldn't stick. You wouldn't be able to put any glue there, and it would just kind of just wobble around and come off. But these give you a place to attach glue. And we want to put a couple of drops in here because we want to hold this shut. And then we're going to put some glue here. And we want to make sure that this is straight. We don't want, we don't want to be like that. We want to be straight. And if you can't reach your finger in there, you can put a pencil or pen inside and push on it. All right, so this is almost ready to balance. There's one issue though, is that there's no angle of incidence on the wing, which means as the air goes over, it's going to want to kind of tilt the airplane down. And because this is perfectly level, it will let it. Your airplane will actually want to fly upside down a little bit. So we have to do this. We're going to make a couple snips right here. And we're going to bend this up a little bit and bend this one up a little bit. Okay, see this? This is actually built up a lot. We don't want this. We don't want a speed brake. We don't want the wind just hitting that and slowing it down. What this is going to do is it acts like a rudder on a ship, but as the air goes through this, it pushes on that, and it pushes the tail down, and that picks the nose up, and then we'll climb. And the more you have it up, the steeper the climb will be, but the more drag it'll have, and the slower the plane will go, and the less it'll want to fly. So the last thing we need are some paper clips. So I've got some paper clips here, and we want to put these in the nose. That's because this short nose needs to weigh as much as this whole tail. We want this to balance on the wings, and you can see right now it doesn't. It goes straight up and down. We want this to balance actually right about here, about a third from the front. That will give you a good balance for the airplane. So we'll put a couple of paper clips in the nose. Now, some people don't know how to put paper clips in. They try to like hook it like this. So it's not, look, there's two loops on one end, right? So you put one loop on the inside and one loop on the outside, it slides right in. So with 3, it's still a little tail heavy. All right, let's put 4 in. 4 is looking pretty good. So if you've got 4 or 5 paper clips in here, you can give this thing a test throw and see if it works. So now, if you throw it and it dives, it might have too much weight in the nose. But try it upside down. If it dives and you throw it upside down, then it climbs up, then you need to adjust these things because it's steering down. If you throw it upside down and it also goes down, then you have too much weight in the nose. Now, if you throw it and it goes up sharply and then stops, you're almost heavy enough. You need to add another weight in the nose to do that. If it kind of goes up and then goes back down like this, that's probably perfect. If it just tumbles, you don't have nearly enough weight in the front. It's a little balancing act, but right about like that, you can see that's perfect. So go ahead and work on this, and once you're done, you can make another one. Thank you for watching this video. I had fun making this. If you enjoy this, please leave a like and consider subscribing so that I can make more videos like this.